guys, welcome to Girls Like Us. This is me, Denise, also known for some of you may know as Charlotte. So here we are back again another week, and today I have a guest on the show. That will be Sean, my best friend. I wanted to get a guy's perspective on the topic that we'll be talking about today. As you see, you know what, we already in it. So, anywho, let him tell us about himself. Look, you know what, I'm tripping today. But anywho, he's gonna tell a little bit about himself.
How you guys doing today? My name is Sean, like she said. Denise and I have been friends for quite a long time, 20 plus years. And if you follow her, you might have seen me in a few pictures. The good looking guy, that'll be me. Like I said, we've been friends for a long time, and I'm sure the topic that she wanted us to talk about today. I'm gonna say some things that she probably would definitely disagree with. I know she already will, but that's why she brought me here, so we can make it good for you guys, and I hope you guys will enjoy it.
Yes, absolutely. So before we dig into the topics and all of that, let's just get warmed up and get a feel for everything. This will not be edited. This is just raw, right out. So I want you guys to really get a feel for it. It's not something we're just saying for you guys, but this is our feelings on everything. So we coming straight out the gates, no filter, none of that. So we'll start off with how's your week been going? Like, how's everything going?
Well, so far so good. Everything's been everything. At the workplace, instead of getting 80 hours, you get 63. The bill's still getting paid because they're not gonna stop. I'm glad that I'm still here on Earth. A lot of people have passed away from coronavirus. I'm one of the ones who actually had the virus and survived. It's a crazy time out there. So, again, please wear your mask. Can't stress that enough. What about you?
Absolutely. Initially I wasn't affected by the COVID at all. Like, I worked through the whole pandemic. It actually wasn't until this last month where my hours got cut down. And honestly, I'm pretty much enjoying it. Like, they keep asking me to say, what are you doing? Like, I'm working on my projects now. Like, I'm able to actually have a downtime where I can work on the things that I want to work on. Because before, I was working 6 days a week and not having no time for myself. So, I'm definitely enjoying it. So, it has, yeah, definitely. So, I'm pretty happy about that. Like, they definitely keep asking me. I'm thinking that, like, thinking like, oh, is she gonna ask to come back full time or something? Because I'm working at 2 jobs, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I was like, no. I'm like, no, I'm cool right now. Like, maybe later down the line, but right now, I'm gonna take it all in. So yeah.
That's what's up. How was your Valentine's Day? It just passed.
It did. It was pretty good. I went out to dinner. I enjoyed that because I love to eat, and anybody who know me know I love to eat. So whatever. So that was pretty good. I had a good Valentine's Day.
Good. That's what's up. That's what's up. Any special person that took you out to eat?
You know what? See,
that's
why you asked it.
You guys want to know, right?
They don't want to know. No, that's your ass.
I tried for you fellas out there. I tried, bro. I'm sorry. She ain't biting.
Whatever. I cannot stand you.
Hey, but look at the guy who listening to this, and you took her. She didn't mention you playing.
Stop.
I'm sorry. It's jokes. It's jokes. I'm just playing. It's just jokes.
Whatever. Anywho, what did you do over the weekend? Did you do anything for Valentine's Day?
I work. I work all 7 days a week. I work. I leave one job and basically go straight to the other. As far as Valentine goes, I worked. The wife was at work. I did by chance get her flowers. And when you're married, Valentine's Day is different. It's a little different from people who's single.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not gonna go further than that. If you're married, you know what I'm talking about.
Whatever. Well, did you do anything over the weekend?
No. Not at all.
He's just so boring. Oh, he's so boring.
I got nothing. I'm
I went out this weekend. I did brunch. It was my mom's birthday, and I wanted to get out to celebrate her birthday. She's passed, but I didn't want to be all gloomy and stuff like that. So I wanted to get out. So me and my friend, we went for brunch, and when I tell you, we had brunch reservations at 12.
Mm-hmm.
By 2:00. Oh, we was lit. Oh, we was lit. Like
Nice.
we had bottomless mimosas,
Nice.
and
Nice.
we was definitely feeling good. So
Nice.
it turned out to be really good. So yeah, by the time I got home, I passed out. So the rest of the day was just pretty much gone because I was gone.
Nice.
Yeah, I had planned to go out later that evening, but that didn't happen due to the fact that
You're drunk.
yes. Pretty much like, oh yeah, now I'm good. I'm like, I don't need to go nowhere because I'm straight. So,
Nice. That's
but
what's up.
yeah,
That's what's up.
definitely. So it was good overall.
All right.
Definitely
all
had a
right.
good. Oh, and then was the snow? No, the snowstorm was last weekend. So yeah, prayers go out to all the people in Texas that had to
Yes,
do all of that
yes,
because they definitely went through something
Lots.
horrific. The way I was seeing it, like
A
they didn't
lot.
have any power, they didn't have heat, they didn't have water. Like they just was out there. So my prayers definitely go out to them. I'm glad that they're past it for the most part. I think all their electricity might be back on now and the water is back up, but that was a lot because people roofs had caved in and pipes broke. So that was definitely something too. That was a lot.
And they're a whole like 70-something degrees today.
Exactly. Like I was talking to some people who I know who stay in Texas. I have relatives, I have good friends out there, and they was like, you wouldn't even know a storm came through because everything is completely melted. It's back warm again. And I was like, that's just crazy. And a lot of other states, I know my sister in Tennessee, they had ice storms, and she was like, things are back to normal. And I'm like, yeah. I snow here, I feel like it's gonna take forever for all this snow to melt.
I'm surprised they even saw you walking through the snow. You're
Ah,
not that tall.
we got
I'm just saying, you know.
Whatever. I stayed in, I must say. I did stay in. I was so glad. Like, with my new schedule, I was like, oh, so I'm great. I'm already home anyway, so I don't have to go outside. So
Nice.
it definitely worked out for me with this new schedule. So no complaints here. I was able to stay safe and yes.
That's what's up.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what's up.
Let me tell y'all about this guy right here. First of all, let me start out with when I asked him to do this whole interview and just for him to give me his thoughts on the whole what we're gonna be talking about today. He had demands, like, oh yeah, you know what? I need all green Skittles. I need an ice cold Pepsi. I need. He always eating fish, so he like, oh, I need some fish. Like, I'm like, I don't know.
It's little things. It's the little things. That's all. You know, I didn't ask for much. I mean, you're not getting paid for something. You're helping out a friend. I mean, the least you can do is feed you and make sure you got something sweet. And you know, hey, but she did give me a drink though. So yeah, I did get that, but. All the other stuff I didn't.
Right,
You know?
so I did take care of that. So
Yeah.
I did something right.
Maybe next time. Hey, and speaking on that, if you ever get a chance to come on her show, she's a great host, and she'll definitely treat you well. You know, this is all just jokes and fun that we're having. Well, like I said, she's a dear friend of mine, and you know, I didn't expect any of that stuff, but it would have been nice.
Maybe next time.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, guys, so today's episode is we're going to be talking about the law that's trying to be passed in California as far as stealthing. And in case you didn't know what the stealthing is, it is when when the male takes off the condom without your consent. And I laugh because of stealthing because when my friend like did the research, because I sent him the whole article, he was like so happy. Like he was like, oh, I bet you didn't know this. And I'm like, what? It's like he really did his research.
You know, I had no clue what. First of all, when she told me the topic, she basically said there's a law that's trying to be passed in California about a female who was having sex with a male and he took the condom off. So that's what we're talking about. I'm like, okay, cool. So I didn't want to come on the show not knowing anything about that. So I looked into it. I found out there's a whole name for this. and basically it was trying to be been passed in 2017 to 2018, and they didn't want to do it for the simple fact that they didn't want overpopulate the jails because it was just going on. It was crazy how men were doing this to the women, and by me being a father of 4 girls, you know, I'm like, what? Did they what? So it was crazy. It was crazy. But I know I'm about to make a lot of women mad out here. Well, with this question I'm about to ask Denise. However, I gotta ask. You just play a little devil's advocate. When you're doing that, you know, having sex with a guy and the condom does come off, can you tell a difference?
So, I believe in a lot of cases that they do tell the difference for the simple fact that this law is trying to be put into place. So obviously somebody came forward saying they knew that the condom came off. I'm not really sure about all cases. It can be cases where maybe alcohol may be involved or something like that, and they don't realize it until after the fact. Like, wait a minute, hold up. So obviously it's a major thing, and obviously females have been able to know the difference because they trying to pass a law on it.
Okay.
So I feel like, yeah, like obviously it's people are feeling the difference because it wouldn't even be an issue if that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. And then it might be it might be like later on after the whole everything that happened, like after the end of it, and realizing like, oh wow.
Okay, and it's also crazy that California is the only state that's trying to pass this law. Mm-hmm. Everywhere else is like, you know, it's okay.
Exactly.
For the most part, again, because they don't want to overpopulate the jails, mm-hmm. because it's going on so much. Women, please be careful out there who you lay down with. You know, it's crazy. Like I said, being a father of 4 women, I'm always got my pistol ready every day, just to, you know, just for things like that. You know, never want to have to use it for this, but you never know. You never know.
Exactly. So with you having daughters and everything, is this something that you discuss with them? Is this a conversation that you have as far as like consent and like the condom removal and anything when it comes down to regards to having sex?
Well, you know, for the older kids, no. I've never had that, not even for the younger ones. As a matter of fact, I never, ever actually even would have thought about this whole conversation having with them if it didn't happen to you. Mm-hmm. You know, it changes your whole perspective when it comes down to talking to females, with the way you go about your day-to-day life. When, like I said, talking to females, it's different now. You know, at one point, everything that I did back in the day, mm-hmm. before I got married and all that good stuff, now I look at it after, you know, reading and doing research, that was like rape.
You're right.
and it was crazy. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it scared me. So no, to answer your question, I have not had that conversation with my girls. But the older ones know if they ever had a question, they can always come to me. The little one, the younger ones, the 16, 8-year-old, I feel like it's a little bit too young. Not so much for the 16-year-old.
I was going to say the 16-year-old.
But the 16-year-old is so innocent, and I want to keep her in an
but she
innocent
not.
place.
You're in. Well, for her being in high school at this point, 16-year-old.
This is true.
There's like, yeah, she may be innocent, but the things that's going on around her, she should definitely be made aware of that, because if you're not aware of something, you tend to be more naive about it.
This is true.
And even at you said 16?
Eight.
At even 8, some of the basics, I think, foundations need to be laid for girls, because hell, these kids nowadays is having sex, hell, in grammar school at that age.
Yeah.
These kids are way more advanced than what we used to be. So I think those conversations like are so important. even when I make posts always about like just having our kids not to hug relatives. If they don't want to, then that should be their choice, because I feel like a lot of times we be like, oh, go hug Auntie Sheila or go hug Uncle James, and they might not want to hug that person, but we always like, oh, you gotta hug them. Saying hi is just fine. Like, why are we always saying go hug this person? You don't know what energy they may be feeling, because I feel like kids can feel more things than we can, and they might feel like something isn't right. They might feel like that hug is inappropriate, and telling you about it, and they already know how you are.
Right.
So it's just like, no, I don't want to, but you forcing the issue. And I think these are the things that we're not teaching our kids, to say what they want. Like, a lot of times when we see those parents who let their kids do what they want, not necessarily do what they want, but have their own mind, we're so negative against it. It's just like, oh, well, they letting their kid do whatever they want to do. They letting them have their own opinions. But in a sense, it's a good thing, because they're protecting themselves in a sense. Like, they know what they like and they don't like, and it's us who put it on them to, oh, do this because I said it, because I'm your parent. And in some cases, it's just not right.
You're right. Yeah, I definitely agree. I definitely agree with that. With everything you actually said. Actually, I mean, you're right, because, sometimes, hell, even after that door, I don't want to hug somebody
Right.
because of their energy. So I definitely understand and totally agree. That's why I don't let my kids go out. No, I'm just kidding. I keep them locked up in the basement.
You're right, yeah.
But no, I it's like I said, we having fun up here, and it's definitely a serious matter.
Absolutely.
So please don't take my jokes or us laughing as if to say that we're like not taking it serious.
Absolutely.
But we are. We just want to find, try to find a little humor, if you will,
to get past all of the pain that goes behind
that's causing women to feel a certain type of way. Like I said, being a father of 4 females is crazy. So I would never, ever, ever find humor into a way that a male is treating a female. That's just period.
Right.
Period.
So, if your daughter came home, the oldest ones, the ones who's like a lot older and having sex with you, being okay with it, if they were to come to you and they was like, hey, my guy that I've been seeing, whatever, he took the condom off, like, would you, because before even reading this, would you think this is like a serious matter? Would you be like,
no.
oh,
No. No. I mean, to be all honest, I would look at her and say, how come you didn't know the difference? So
you're gonna blame her? It's pretty much victim blame.
Yes, but no. I wouldn't say, I wouldn't call it victim blaming. Jeez, but I would say you couldn't tell the difference between the condom and which I would want her to probably say, no, I couldn't, which means as a dad, you'll want to hear that, because one, you're not having sex as much as I think you are. and 2, this is not something you do every day. So, as a parent, as a dad, that's the way you're thinking. However, like you said, victim blaming, I guess, yeah, that would be me. I would say, hey, how come you couldn't tell the difference? It's definitely a slippery slope.
But at that same instance, obviously she knew the difference because she brought it to your attention.
Well,
so obviously she did know the difference if she's saying like he took it off. So that means obviously she knew at some point in time that it did came off. Whether it was at the end, whether it was at the beginning, she knew because she brought it to your attention.
And yes, great point. However, you did say at the end, maybe it's towards the end, like you get all up into the moment and you really didn't know, and at the end of it all, you realize he didn't have a condom on.
Right. So yeah, but then you see, so you be like, at the end, you're gonna end up blaming her, like, well, why didn't you know?
Well, no, like I said, as a father, you will want your daughter to say, I couldn't tell the difference, Dad, because one, again, it will let you know that she's not having sex as much as you think she is.
So that's your whole aspect.
Hey, that's what I'm gonna do.
That is usually, and this is what guys think. This is their whole thing. Like their whole mindset is like, oh yeah, so like it's not because the guy did this. It's because like, oh, she's not that. She still has some innocence to her.
Absolutely. As a dad, that's how you want your daughter to be innocent. You don't want your daughter to be out there all willy nilly. You know, like I'm just saying, you don't want your daughter to be out there.
Oh my God!
I'm just saying
this, and this is how guys think. This is why I brought him on the show, because these guys think like that and they feel like it's okay when it's not. And this is what's not taught in school. Like when you teaching in school, when they're teaching, not you, but when they're teaching sex education in school, these are some of the things that needs to be talked about versus the reproduction system. Like outside of, you need to be talking about what consent is, what goes into consent, like what is not consent. And cases like this, on taking a condom off without the female being aware of it until.
And to piggyback on what you just said a little while ago, let's make it clear. All guys don't think like I think. Some guys do have the knowledge and the insight to not think the way I do. It's just the way I was raised and how I want my kids. You know, I want to see my kids. You know, some guys may look and see something totally different.
Right.
But the way I am, the way I was raised, and I want to feel like I did something right as far as raising girls. And with that being said, that's how I look at my kids. So all you guys out there, you know, hats off to you if you think differently. But that's how I feel. So I just want to make that clear because I don't want no one to be mad at you, Denise.
Thank you. And this is why I brought him on, because I knew he was going to give me like a guy's point of view. And not every guy is going to, of course, agree with it. But a lot of guys are feeling the way that he thinks about the situation, because guys kind of have a blinder on when it comes down to topics like this. Like, especially like when it comes down to the actual act and the whole act of consent and things like that. Like guys have it totally misconstrued. Like we've had people say like, oh, a lot of people lie about it. Like it's so much backlash that comes behind it, even with some of the posts that has been made. Like the backlash, like, oh, well, if, you know, like making up excuses for consent. There is no excuses. If I'm drunk and I can't tell you like this is what I want, or if I'm asleep or something like that, it's technically it's rape. If I'm telling you no constantly and then like I'm just laying there at the end because you keep on pressuring me, it's rape. Like there is no blurred lines. It's simple. It's just what it is. If I tell you no continuously and at the last point I'm just laying there like a bump on the log, guess what? I don't want it and it's rape. But I think so many people think like, oh no, or you think like, oh, this is my wife, I can do this because guys feel like women are their property, or if we're in a relationship, like it makes it okay. It doesn't make it okay. There's no exceptions to the rule, not because, oh yeah, I'm great.
All guys don't think like that.
But a lot of, I think not all, but a lot of guys think like that. Like a lot of guys think like that.
You're right. A lot of them do.
Yeah.
I don't think that women are property, but
a lot of guys think that. Even people I have conversations with, and I'll like say like, oh, this person, like they just always on me, or they always want to have sex, and a person, female's response is like, oh, that's normal. Like that's just what they do. Like, oh, this totally disregard the whole situation. That happens more often than none. Like they'll justify, like it's almost like they normalize that this is just a normal thing, that this is just what they do.
Crazy. When I was out there in the world, I have never met no.
I definitely have. Even when it comes down to say like, oh, I was assaulted or something, women, more victims are victim blamers and shamers, because they'll be like, oh, it happened to me. Like, oh, like I just get like something normal. Like they make it seem like it's something normal. Oh, that happened to me too, but oh yeah, I just got over it. The worst. The absolute worst. And I'm just like, so you just move on, you just act like it didn't happen type of thing. But I don't know. So do guys even have these conversations? Do they have these conversations amongst at the barbershop, anything when it comes down to these type of deep conversations, or is it just all?
You know, I am definitely the wrong guy to ask that question.
Okay.
One reason I don't go to the barbershop. I actually line my own hair. I don't have male friends. I don't do the whole male friend thing because, to me, just like a lot of females don't have female friends because they keep up a lot of mess, a lot of drama. That's how I am with guy friends.
Right.
The only guy friends guy company I keep is relatives. And, everybody's pretty much say, their role. Your cousin, your first cousin, second cousin, third cousin, you're married into the family. Something like that. Everybody has a role. But as far as male friends, I don't have that interaction. When it comes down to conversations like this, is mostly about sports and what kind of gun you picked up this week. This, that, and other. We never, as a lot of the relatives do have, I should say, females, girls, little girls, but we never, ever, ever talk about things like this. And which is weird.
Right.
But the last thing you want to talk about is, little Tay got molested, or Mr. Jackson over there touched Malia. You don't want to talk about that.
Right.
You don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to talk about those
exactly.
hard conversations.
Exactly, because it's just some fellas may feel weak if they actually let that happen to their daughter. Like, I would feel some type of way if someone came to me and said, "Oh, somebody touched Shauna." And I would be highly upset, and it make me feel like, where was I at as a parent, as her dad? How come that happened on my watch? I was here. How come that happened? So I would be upset. So it would be a rough and hard conversation to have with a group of guys. But I think it is time to have that conversation.
Absolutely. I definitely agree, because I definitely feel like it's not. I have a friend on Facebook who posted an article that literally just happened here about, I want to say she's 7 years old and she's being molested, and they were heading in a hotel and everything, and people reported it. They reported it to DCFS, but nothing was done about it until like so much damage had been done. Like, I think she's now like in a psychiatric ward. But the article was posted, and normally this friend of mine always have millions of comments on that, like on his stuff. This particular thing that he posted, no comments, nothing. And I was like, why would you post about a serious topic, especially something like this? This is major. This is somebody's child. Nobody has anything to say. Like, when it comes down to topics like this, it's always a blind eye, or, oh, I'm not going to talk about that. Oh, I don't want to, until it's your child.
Yeah.
Or it's somebody close to you, then you like, in the uproar, like, we're going to protest. We're going to do this. Nah, don't do it now. Because you wasn't doing it before it happens to your person. So don't come over here now and want to get on the bandwagon like, why ain't nobody doing nothing? You should have been doing something before it happened to your person.
It's true.
But it's just like, we're going to turn a blind eye. Sex trafficking, child trafficking, all of that is happening each and every day. There are people abducted right from underneath our noses. But guess what? Do we do anything about it? No. Do we say anything about it? No. Do we post anything about it? But when we post the bullshit, the memes and stuff, the stupid stuff, the fights and stuff, everybody's on board. You reposting it, you're liking it, you're sharing it, you're doing everything with it. But when it comes down to serious topics, it's just, nah, I'm good. Or you just turn the other way. Like, in your opinion, why do you think that this is what happens today?
I believe it's just the way of the world. That's all I can say about that. It's just the way of the world. A lot of people don't want to talk about the real stuff.
Right.
I'd rather talk about, just like we just stated when the guys get together, we talk about the sports and guns, but we will not talk about what goes on as far as sex trafficking and things like that. Although we have daughters, we would never talk about nothing like that. And I would definitely say never. I can say never because it never happens. There's something we definitely turn a blind eye to, and I definitely do believe that it's definitely time to wake up and actually talk about these things, so we will let these little kids know what as they say, I'm about to tell my age, what time it is.
Right.
Out there in the streets, because we didn't know. We wasn't taught that. You know, we weren't taught that. We was taught, like you said, go hug Uncle Lee and hug Uncle Roy and this and another. And we probably didn't want to, but we did anyway because mom and dad told us to.
That's what they made us do, right?
Yeah, but maybe it is time to have that conversation. Definitely.
Absolutely. I've had conversations with like family members or things like that when it comes down to guys starting to have sex at early ages and things like that. And technically, it's not okay, but everybody, every male kind of normalizes like, oh, it's fine. I had an older woman. I'm like, well, you do understand she raped you, right? Because regardless of, yeah, it may have felt good, but it was rape. Like, I don't know how you looking at it. Like, you need to look at it like on a real way, because if this was to happen to your child, I guarantee you're gonna see it
You
then.
look at it differently.
Yeah,
But
you're gonna look at it.
definitely, back then it was a badge of honor.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, I had an older one. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
don't you think it was something mentally wrong with her to want to be with the little kid? Like, was somebody like...
Again, it wasn't talked about.
Right. And
talked about.
exactly.
So
it's just something
we
that
didn't
kind of
know.
like,
Yeah. And I actually got I won't say backlash, but I got a lot of laughs and little jokes for even knowing someone who actually had a show like this. And when I told them I was going to be on the show, they said, no, you're not. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. I mean, because of the reputation that that I have, and I really don't think it's a reputation, but I think it's someone's perception of me when they meet me. But it's funny that most guys, when I told them about this, they said, you know somebody like that? You going on that show? Man, well, something's happening to you. Nothing's happened. Nothing has changed. I am very proud of you for even doing this. And I can't stress that enough. I'm very proud of you for doing this. You definitely turn lemon into lemonade, and you're helping somebody out there, and I'm sure they appreciate you as much as I do.
oh, thank you.
Indeed.
Thank you. So, with all the information that you know now today, just in all the things that I've talked about with you, that I've shared, like the post, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that. It's a word for that? So,
It's been a lot, though. It's been a lot.
So, what do you say to guys today, knowing all the things that you've learned thus far?
Read. Do your research. Listen. When a woman says no, listen. It's not a game. Definitely listen. Read. Do your research, because if you had a daughter out there, you would definitely do not want them to experience what you're about to do to somebody else's daughter. That's about all I can say about it.
That's some great advice. I do appreciate that. That is definitely some great advice. Because like I always say, like, it's just so important that you listen or just take heed to everything you read. Like, all these people ain't out here lying, because a lot of times they always want to make the victim out to be the allegedly, that person did this allegedly. It's always allegedly, but you have all the facts in front of you. You may have the DNA, you have the evidence, you have the footage, like everything, and it still would be allegedly. No, the evidence is right here. So it's not allegedly, this person did this. But everybody just, I feel like you need to wake up and stop making excuses for these people. Whether it's your child who doing this to somebody, whether it's your father, whether it's your cousin, stop making excuses for them, because as long as you make excuses for them, they're gonna continue to do it, and it's gonna continue to pass down the line. It's not just gonna stop right there. They're gonna pass it down to their kids, their kids. Like, it's a cycle, and the cycle needs to be broken. Because it's just, it keeps going on. It has to stop somewhere. Somebody has to take a stand for this, and I'm gonna be here for it for the whole little run until I'm gonna ride the reels out till the reels fall off. Like, this is something I am passionate about, and I'm not going to give up on this journey, because it's something that we won't talk about. Like, it's something that you just, you'll probably just scroll past this video, like, they're talking about sexual assault and stuff like that, and just scroll past. When you need to be listening, trying to get this information before a loved one is affected by this. Then it's too late to come back. I mean, you can, don't get me wrong, you can come back, but don't wait till it's somebody, your loved one is affected by this.
Don't wait till it's too late.
Exactly. Like, listen, spread the word. If you see something about a kid or something, pass it along, because this person, 9 out of 10, this person is still out here. The person I just said about the kid, the 7-year-old, the person who did that to that child is still out here roaming freely around. And guess what? That means they can come and get your child, your cousin, your sister, your niece, your auntie. Like, they're predators. Predators aren't going to change. This is a sickness within them. So it's not something they're going to wake up and be like, I don't want it anymore. No, 9 out of 10, unless somebody kill them. And I hate to say this because I don't condone violence, but that's the only option out of here. A rehab or something, lock them up. Take away their freedom like they took away that child. Like, that child will never be the same again.
Absolutely.
And it's unfair. And it's unfair that it's been reported and nothing was done about it.
You know, Law and Order SVU is not a game.
Exactly.
It is not just a #1 show. It's definitely the truth. I mean, you watch that show. If you watch that show and you're a fan of that show, you know what I'm talking about. That sometimes the victim on the show is the victim, and they are the ones that end up being looked at and under the microscope, and never the predator. So, you know, these shows out here are game changers, and that is one of the better shows out there. So definitely, if you ever get a chance, if you haven't watched it, watch SVU. It's definitely a great show.
It is, and it speaks so much. It tells so much about some of the victims, and at the end of the day, the victims end up getting victimized, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's always an excuse. Like, if a stripper is to get sexually assaulted, it's just like, that person was a stripper and they was doing this. Like, no, that doesn't make it right at all. And the people who think that it makes it right, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, you're just as sick as that person. Like, it doesn't justify. If you come outside with a sexy dress on that may be short or something, that doesn't justify somebody assaulting you. By no means necessary. It doesn't justify. And if you think that it does, and you one of those people who's saying like, they shouldn't have wore that, you part of the problem. And you need to stop, and you need to reevaluate before it happens to you, because a lot of times, hey, you're going to be the next person in line, since you think it. You can have on baggy clothes and somebody will still sexually assault you. So don't think it's just because of, it was what that person was wearing. No. Everybody needs to stay woke. Wake up. If you're not woke, like, wake up and just look around you. It's not going away. It's not going away. Pedophilia is large. It's going on amongst everybody. Celebrities, regular people. This is something like they normalize until we regular people put a stop to it. At least bring light to it. At least acknowledge it and stop just ignoring it. Any words from you, Sean? I know, right? Because I went on a rant. Like, I'm serious about this. Like,
she said it all.
I know, I did. I'll be going on tangents because I just be feeling like people don't understand. Like, people
you know
just.
What? When you're passionate about something, you definitely will speak upon it. and there it is. There it is. She's passionate about it, folks. She's here to help you. If you have any suggestions and any thing you want her to talk about, please write in. Let her know.
Absolutely.
The GoFundMe page.
Yeah, it's a Cash App. Girls Like Us.
Girls Like Us. Oh, it's not GoFundMe. Oops. It's Cash App.
Oh my God! See what I'm saying?
Cash App. Girls Like Us. You know, definitely.
Oh my God.
Help her out. Help her out. She's out here trying to make a difference.
I definitely am.
Definitely. And it's a good look. It's a good look. Like I said, there's a lot of things I didn't know. I'm 46. I know I don't look like it, but I'm 46 years old. And like I said, there's a lot of things I didn't know. So she's definitely doing a good thing out here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. Did you want to share anything else? Did you?
No.
No, I thought you did.
No.
You changed your
I
mind?
changed my mind.
You know what? You see?
Changed my mind.
Why?
We'll say it later. If you want me back, no.
Oh my God. Well, I'm definitely gonna bring him back at a later date and see what else he has to say, cause I definitely like, so any guys out there, like I definitely want to hear like what you guys have to say. I know I want to hear from the females also, but I definitely like to hear a guy's perspective on things, on what they're thinking, or if they have like any suggestions, like, hey, why don't you talk about this? I'm totally open for that. I'm totally open for suggestions, topics you may want to hear. I'm all for it because I don't want this to continue to fly under the radar and kind of, just get shunned. Like, because these are topics that we need to address on a daily. This ain't something like, oh, today I'll talk about it, but let's not talk about it tomorrow because it's so draining. Like, people say these things like, oh, that topic is so draining. Like, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want it to, like, get in my... Hey, guys. Thanks for tuning in to that last episode and the interview with Sean. Just so you know, make sure to follow me on IG at _girls.like.us. Also, feel free to email me if you have any questions, concerns, if you have any ideas. I'm always open to hear that at girlslikeus619@gmail. Also, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to the Facebook page at girlslikeus619. Also, I'm definitely accepting donations. Always greatly appreciate it. At $Girls Like Us podcast. As always, thanks for listening to Girls Like Us.